Raise this up. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Midgard Musings. Let me get everything set up here, looking semi-decent for you. Hail and welcome once again to, still not right, to Midgard Musings this week, everybody. As always, I'm your host Jesse, and the camera's just being a little bit difficult for me right now, so I apologize for the disruption there. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't get it right. But anyways, we are currently live on Facebook right now. Appreciate everybody watching today's episode. I'm going to wait for some people to join the live stream, and while we're waiting, if you are checking this video out on the YouTube channel, I definitely would appreciate a subscription if you haven't already subscribed. For those watching Facebook right now, the link for the YouTube channel is in the title of this video. So we're going to be getting into the next 9 stanzas of the Hávamál readings today. We are going to be reading stanzas 91 through 99, and this series, or this part of the series, will be a continuation of some of the love advice from Odin, the Allfather. So while we're waiting for some people to join, I'm going to go ahead and get our candle lit and our drink poured, which today is actually a pretty special drink. But I had my lighter nearby and I didn't. It's not the normal Einstock porter that we're used to seeing here on this live stream, so I'll be getting into that here in just a minute while we wait for some people to join. So if you are watching for the first time, again, I appreciate you tuning in and watching. What we do every week here on Sundays for the last couple of months now is we've been reading from the Hávamál, the wise words of Odin, the Allfather. And we are up to stanza 91 today. We're going to be reading stanzas 91 through 99, and I always light a candle, burn some incense, and have a beverage. This week's incense is a berries and cream, kind of a cool, different aroma that we have going on here today. Yeah, there we go. It's a really thick incense stick, if you haven't noticed. I don't know if you can tell from that distance, but it is. It's like a really, really wide, pretty thick stick. That's what she said. Well, we are getting into love advice today, everyone, so be prepared for some good old-fashioned lowbrow humor. Okay. So, but it's family friendly, so definitely family friendly, as much as possible. Bring the kids. Alright guys, so we've got our incense going, our candles going. Now, today, like I said, normally what I usually have to drink is the Einstock Toasted Porter. It's a delicious, delicious beer that I only ever really consume when I'm doing these live streams. I've made it kind of like a tradition here on this channel. But today it's going to be a different beverage. Today is something that comes from a gift from my wife. She got it for me earlier in the week, and it came from the mead section of the liquor store. This is actually a hard cider, but it has tea and chai spices added to it. It's called the Dude's Rug. I know everything's kind of mirrored in the camera right now, but it's called the Dude's Rug. And I'm just going to read it real quick too before we get into the description, because the description is pretty cool. It says B, the letter B, nectar cider. Okay, so you're a cider. I'm a cider. That's terrific. But this is not just any cider. This is the Dude's Rug. For a spiked chai cider, it really chied the room together. Nice little pun there. Amateurs could not pull off the perfect blend of black tea with cardamom, clove, cinnamon, and ginger. They'd be out of their element. So, if you want to be an achiever, drink this cider and abide. Nobody messes with the bee. So I've never had this cider before, guys. I don't drink cider a whole lot. It's not really one of my typical beverages of choice. I don't know if this is a twist-off. Nope, it's not a twist-off. It's a pop-off. Cider's not my typical beverage of choice, but I really I like chai flavors and chai aromas and things like that, so let's take a sample of this. Everyone, hail, skull, welcome to Midgard Musings. If you have a drink right now, now is your time to pour. and let's get on with the show. It's actually a really nice light. Can't really tell in the cameras, but it's not a. It is a very, you know, cidery kind of color. It's a light amber. It's actually really good. It definitely tastes like a cider, but I pick up a little bit of the black tea. Definitely get the ginger. Some of the cloves. It's really good. Definitely recommend it if you're a fan of cider, and you can pick this up in your local beverage store somewhere. It's called where is it again? There it is. The Dude's Rug by B Nectar. Check it out. All right, enough of that. All right, that's actually really refreshing. It's really, really hot here in Tennessee lately. We've just had some thunderstorms rolling through, and the humidity is high, so this has been really refreshing. All right, everyone, so here we are. We're about to start reading the 91st through 99th stanzas of the Hávamál, and as always, I read from the Poetic Edda as translated by Dr. Jackson Crawford. Very, very highly recommend this version of the Poetic Edda if you haven't read it before, or if you're perhaps even a new heathen who's looking to get some literature added to your library. Very readable, very you know, easy on the ears and eyes as far as understanding it goes. But if you are watching and you have your own version of your Hávamál that you want to read along into, definitely do so. I see some people checking in now and watching on the live streams. Hello, everyone. Hail and welcome. I'll check the comments here after we read through these stanzas. So, going to just kind of recap. Last week we started the Odin's Love Advice or Love Adventures section of the Hávamál, and kind of are getting into more of that stuff. What we're going to be hearing about today is how Odin attempted to woo Billing's daughter. We're going to be getting into most of that story today. But anyways, the 91st stanza of Hávamál today, I'll speak plainly now, since I know both men and women. Men lie to women. We speak most eloquently when we tell the biggest lies and seduce even wise women with lies. Now, if anybody was watching last week's episode, which is up on YouTube, just head over to the YouTube channel and you'll see last week's episode was uploaded on Sunday. We heard some stuff from Odin that would almost make it appear as though he was, you know, saying that, you know, nobody should trust women. And it kind of does say that, but we're getting into stuff now that whether you're a man or a woman, when it comes to love affairs and when it comes to things of that nature, you can't really trust anyone. Or it's very, very difficult to find a trusting person when it comes to wooing the other sex or the other gender, or getting into that sort of thing. Men lie to women, especially when we're trying to impress them, right? How many times, ladies, how many times have you been just given a line of garbage from a man trying to hook up with you or trying to get with you? And men, guys, like, how many times do we, when we're trying to impress the ladies in our lives, have we maybe embellished on something a little bit more than we should have, or stretched the truth of something, or just flat out lied about things? It's a very easy trap to fall into. So it's a good thing to be warned against when it comes to our dealings in relationships, you know. Be careful with how we deal with people. Stanza 92 says, "A man should speak eloquently and offer gifts to a woman whose love he wants. Praise the body of a beautiful woman. You will win her if you praise her." You know, so that's a pretty self-explanatory thing, guys. Speak eloquently and offer gifts. Flattery does wonders, yes, but I feel like this is something that, following the previous stanzas, you don't want to lie, you know. You don't want to give someone a line of garbage just to impress them. But definitely, you know, speak well of them. You know, speak eloquently and offer gifts and praise them. If you are truly attracted to them, you know, speak of it. And you will win them. Alright, so Stanza 93 is, no man should mock another for falling in love. Love sickness often strikes harder on a wise man than a fool. And, you know, I see this a lot, and I know it's done in jest most of the times. You know, but you know, guys, and women too, but, you know, guys will, you know, we tend to, when we see people in relationships, we see people getting really affectionate with their spouses or their significant others, you know, they get a lot of good old-fashioned joshing, you know, like, get a room, or, you know, takes that somewhere else, this and that, right? It's all in good fun. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it or whatever, but be careful, and don't mock somebody for falling in love. They obviously found something that means the world to them. They found a person who fulfills their life in ways that nothing else has before. Love sickness can even strike harder on the wise than the fool. You know, that one I'm kind of a little unsure about as far as why love would strike harder on the wise over those that are fool. Maybe because, you know, the wise are much more in tune with things. Maybe there's a higher sensitivity level than the fool who's just in it for themselves or doesn't really even care, things like that. So maybe that's why. And I'm certainly welcome to hear what your take is on that, your opinions on it. Please drop your comments down below here in the comments section, and share with everybody that's watching, because we're live on Facebook right now, and I'm definitely curious as to what that part of the stanza could mean. So once again, it says, love sickness often strikes harder on a wise man than a fool. Let me know what you guys think of that. Alright, so stanza 94. No man should mock another for falling in love. Love is strong enough to make a fool out of a wise... love is strong enough to make a fool out of a man who once was wise. Now, to me, that says that, you know, you can become so infatuated with someone, and you can become so attracted and so into this person that it literally, you lose some of your sense, right? You become so enamored by this person and so absorbed with this person or this new life that you've fallen into, that you just, all of your sense, all of your wisdom, all of your wits just end up either leaving you completely or become directed into other areas of your life, of your body even, and you lose all your sense. So it can happen to the best of us. I speak from experience to say that it has happened to me, you know, so be careful about mocking people for that. Stanza 95, only you know what dwells in your heart when you are alone, but nothing is worse for a wise person than to have nothing to love. Now going back to was it stanza 93, where I was just talking earlier about, you know, why would it strike a wise man harder when, you know, with love sickness, and why would it affect the wise more than the fool? Or, you know, this, in a sense, this stanza sort of answers that, or at least it gives us a little bit more insight to me. Nothing is worse for a wise person than to have nothing to love. You know, the more we learn, the more we become cultured, the more we become, you know, wise to the ways around us. I feel like the more sensitive we become, because we understand more about what makes various lives, you know, what affects various lives, what makes the world go round for everyone, not just ourselves, not just our own little bubble. You know, only you know what dwells in your heart when you're alone, but I feel, at least, you know, for me, it's, you know, when I'm alone, and when I've always been alone, that's where the pain hits the worst, is when you feel like there is nobody else out there to love you, or that you have nobody else out there to love. You know, it can really hit you hard, you know. And I feel like that's another reason why, at least this is my own personal interpretation of it, guys, that's another reason why I think Odin is warning us not to mock those who fall in love, because it is such a powerful emotion. It's such a powerful passion to love and to be loved. You know, it can really mess with somebody to mock them to the point where the pain gets so hard to deal with. Be sensitive to the fact of what people are going through in their lives, and love them. You know what I mean? There's no reason to. We're talking about love as in relationships now, but I feel like it's important to also mention the fact that hate is taught. You know, love is a natural, nurturing emotion. It's what produces life. It's a proactive type of feeling and emotion. Hate has to be taught. Love is something that is all in us, and it's something that we are inherently given. From day one. We need to spread more love. We need to be more caring, and need to be more understanding. That's just my take on it, guys. Again, I'm not saying that that's what Odin's is talking about here, and I'm not trying to stretch this out into something more than what it simply is, but I feel like it was an important thing to mention. Stanza 96. Here we're getting into speaking about Odin's dealings with trying to hook up with Billing's daughter. Okay? Stanza 96. I experienced this when I waited among the reeds, and my lover did not come to me. That wise girl was my flesh and my heart, though I could not call her my own. Odin's talking about, and I'm pretty sure that this particular story about Odin trying to get with Billing's daughter, I don't believe it's anywhere else in lore. If it is, you guys can correct me. So there's not a whole lot of detail about what we're going into right now, except for the fact that Odin sees someone who he's extremely attracted to. She was his flesh and his heart, guys. She was everything to Odin. For whatever she was everything. And she could not be called his own because he was waiting in the reeds, he hasn't yet jumped into this, I'm going to put this spell on her, I'm going to woo her, I'm going to try and make her mine. But he just sees something in the distance, sees something ahead of him and says, I want that, that's everything to me. Stanza 97, I found Billing's daughter, fair as a sunray, asleep on her bed. The life of a lord seemed as nothing to me unless I could live with that woman. This is a relative, or something that I think a lot of us can relate to, is that when we meet someone, or when we see someone who just totally captures everything, they're like the perfect package to us, It doesn't matter about what we've had, it doesn't matter about what we were going for, all the riches in the world, all the possessions that we could own, all of the elaborate things that we could, talk about as being, look what I have, look at this, look at that. None of that matters if we can't live a life with that person who's everything to us. And then, for me and in my relationship, with my wife now, that's 100% true. I couldn't possibly imagine living a life with anything if it wasn't with her. Stanza 98. You should come back in the evening, Odin, she said. If you want to woo me, it is improper for others to know of such a scandal. So guys, this kind of goes back to when Odin first advised us that when you're going to woo a woman or when you're going to court a woman, you should do so in the evening, kind of keep your affairs somewhat private, don't just blast it all out for everyone to know. Because it was a cultural thing. It was much more proper to when you court a woman or when you were courting people. I guess back in the day it was much more proper and culturally acceptable to be more discreet about it. So Billing's daughter tells Odin, it's not right for you to be here right now. Come back later on. Now, if you haven't read this part of the stanzas before, there's going to be more to the story that kind of reveals a bit of some trickery that was afoot. And we're going to be getting into that in the next several stanzas. We're going to actually stop at stanza 99, which is before this story ends. But there's more going on than what seemingly meets the eye here right now. So, but Odin, obviously taking the advice of this woman who he's been so enamored with, says, I turned back. In stanza 99, he says, I turned back and thought that I would win her. I imagined that I would win the woman's love and all her joy. So here he is thinking, okay, cool, I'm going to listen to her, right? Like, yeah, that's right. I don't want to blast this scandal about. I'll come back like she's saying me to, right? Or like she's telling me to. I'm going to come back and give her all I've got in this. So that was stanza 99. I know you guys are hanging on the edge of your seat as far as what you're thinking is going to happen next. But that's going to happen next time we read from Hávamál, next week. Next Sunday. So, of course, you don't have to wait till then. You can always read that part of the Hávamál yourself. If you have it, read it. If you already know what's going to happen, no spoilers, right? No spoilers for those who haven't read it. But if there's any indication as to what's coming ahead of us, guys, it is that, you know, Odin wrote about women in Hávamál and wrote about what to watch out for in women for a specific reason. And it was due to some of his dealings that he had. So if that's any indication as to kind of what's going to be coming, that's what we have to look forward to next week. And anyways, guys, that was today's episode. That was this week's episode. Let me go ahead and toast you all. First of all, I was rude to just raise it up and then put it down. So Skull, and thank you for joining me. And now let me just go through some of these comments real quick, like I always do. It's going to be a little... There we go. Okay. Who all do we have joining today? Hello, everyone. Cool. All right. Let me move that. Several people watching. Jason says hail. Eric says hail. Serge says hail. Head over heels. Michael Howell. Pretty much, yeah. Like what we were talking about before is, you know, being head over heels in love. Just so enamored by somebody that it's all you can think about. Billy says hail. Eric, thanks for having us. Yeah, man, thank you guys, and thank everyone for watching today. It really does mean a lot. I know I say it, but it really and truly does mean a lot for everyone to come in and share in this weekly tradition of mine. I hope that it offers some insight as to what I believe in and what a lot of us believe in terms of Norse heathenry and paganism. There's going to be a whole lot more stuff coming on this channel and on this page in the future, because we are actually more than halfway through reading the Hávamál. But I do have a lot of stuff planned for the future videos, so they may not always be live, but there will definitely be regular content that I hope everyone checks out. So please, in the About section of this page, there's links to the channel. There's a PayPal link that people who want to, monetarily donate to help this channel grow can do so. There's an email there. You guys can always reach out to me via this page. And then for the YouTubers that are watching, please check out Midgard Musings on Facebook. The link for that will be in the description of the video, as well as all the ways that you can help support this channel and helping it grow. So anyways, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Midgard Musings. Tune in again next week, same time. At least for right now, I don't think I have any major Father's Day plans. But if I do, I'll be sure to keep everybody in tune for that, in tune to that, in case the time of everything changes. But as of right now, please tune in again on Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time for the next episode of Midgard Musings. Until then, everyone, hail, Skull. Love you all. Thank you. See you all again in the next video.